What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be going back to the killer tier list that I dropped before the Star Eater up. Well, this was right after the Star Eater update, but now the new update has dropped where Star Caller has been released. There's a bunch of killer patch notes, and there is a lot of stuff that was put on that tier list that I never. Well, one, it came up afterwards. There's a lot of stuff that had to be changed after a couple updates later. All right. So here I am going to tweak the killer tier list. I have added a new um tier, which is going to be unviable slash map reliant, because a lot of the killers are indeed map reliant, and with the way they are still making these, you know, maps, really, it's really wonky in some cases, but there are certain maps that are truly map reliant for some killers, which I'm going to go over. So we're going to start from top to bottom, because the bottom is where all the more tweaks are going to be made. So at the top, we have broken slash meta, which is still Idol and Empress. I'm going to keep it that way because Idol is still meta. He has not been changed. He still has everything. He just dominates in any map that he's able to. He could consistently genlock if he wants to. His chase is very good because he still has that base kit 15%, or was it 20%? Either 15% volt speed boost along with a 6.5 and 2 MS. It is still very oppressive in chase, especially against low ping killers. Now that's like a little thing that I'm, bringing up, low ping killers slash high ping killers, because even though they added lag allowance, a lot of people seem to think that it didn't really change much. It didn't really change much, only in certain exceptions. But when it comes to actively seeing these killers in general and how they perform on all maps and across all different types of player bases, these two are still the most dominant, besides, I would say, Slasher. But I'm not going to put Slasher in broken because there is literally nothing that needs to be changed for Slasher. When you look at these two killers, you can argue, yes, there are certain things that could be tweaked about these two killers to make them less oppressive when it comes to all these categories, because these two killers are literally the only two killers that can consistently pull any playstyle. They could pull a campy playstyle. They could target playstyle. Like, these two killers, Empress and Idol, are the only killers that are so potent and reliable. Like, you could use them anywhere and you'll get results. Now let's move on to high tier. High tier, I'm going to be switching out Star Eater for Host, Watcher, and Android. The reason for me doing this is because I believe that Star Eater is very, very, very good at anti-chase. Sometimes he's more reliable in certain anti-chases than even Warden or Slasher. But I'm not going to put them above Warden or Slasher, because I might put him over Slasher in a way, because, they have two similarities. They both have a sort of useless passive. Now, I would argue that Star Eater's passive is way more, has something to be used, unlike Slashers, because with Slashers, no one even realizes he has a passive to begin with. Even for however long this game has been out and he has not changed, he still doesn't seem like he has a passive. Well, is with Star Eater, there are certain situations where his passive could actually be useful. But the reason why I'm very steadily on not putting him above Slasher is because the lunge and the knife. Now, yes, you can miss with the knife, and Star Eater's warps are very, very, still consistent. I would say that Slasher's knife is way more consistent on top of the lunge. So based on that, I'm going to leave Star Eater above Warden. Host, Watcher, and Android. Now, For host, unfortunately, I'm going to boot host down to mid tier. Reason being, while host is very able to can keep up with a lot of people when it comes to like genlock and certain chases, she gets completely shut down on bigger maps. Like any bigger map, she's pretty much useless on because it is so easy to get rid of traps, and she has such little way of map control. Whereas for smaller maps, she will dominate. So I would say to put her in map reliant, but even though there's some sort of situations where she could still perform well due to her base chase kit. So I'm just gonna leave her at the top of mid tier. As with Star Eater, because I know a lot of people are going to be comparing them to, Star Eater has way better ability of map control because one, even though he places less traps, I'm just gonna call them traps, he can access them from range. Now, that's where I come with, hey, but what about bigger maps? What about those maps? That's where you can play Star Eater as a sort of, what's it called? Vault denial. You could use them as vault denial. You can't really do that with, host, due to the fact that if someone else is diffusing all the traps, they don't get penalized. Now with Star Eater, if they're disarming traps, he could teleport to that person disarming traps. If they're too close, they will die. It is very risky to try to disarm traps like host, comparing Star Eater and host. Host is not very threatening because, there's a certain radius she needs to be in, and it's not that big. It's just her terror radius. But when it comes to Star Eater, this man can teleport back to you, and he has a bigger radius, including when he wants to have his passive. That's like the situation where passive very much benefits in his favor. He is very dangerous when it comes to chasing because he can block off a vault. You won't see it. Again, a lot of these things comes with maps, but all in all, I still believe Star Eater has way better map control than Host does, and his passive, yeah, it's really weird. Maybe I won't boot her to high mid tier. Maybe it just depends. It just depends because she's way more map reliant. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. The reason why I'm putting Star Eater above these two though is because one, gen tapping. Gen tapping is a thing, which absolutely blows out Watcher's passive. Watcher's passive can be absolutely bypassed by gen tapping. You could gen tap. Anybody can gen tap. It's very easy for people to gen tap. All right, even bad players can gen tap. So you don't have to worry about Watcher's passive at all, which makes Android way more viable and way more consistent. Because you don't need to, he doesn't need you to fail generators. I mean, he can when he has a more reliable and consistent, hey, I'm gonna add three, I'm gonna add three skill checks to your skill check, but and these two, although they can hold genlocks better than Star Eater, Star Eater has way better map control. And when it comes to map control, if these two are way, like, if you want a genlock, you need map control, and Star Eater just blows them out the water with that. On top of them, him, you could debate that he has sort of better taste, sort of. Watcher is still better, but when it comes to Android and no, actually no, never mind, forget what I said. But still, he has way better map control. Now we're gonna go on to mid tier. All these killers are going way higher, which is Surgeon, Unforgotten. Well, just do two. These two are still the same. I would argue that Unforgotten can sort of be way better than Surgeon, but these are very interchangeable because however you want to see it, these two are very good. They're rising up in the meta more. Is it enough to put them in high tier? Maybe. Maybe because while yes, they are rising in play time and they're gaining more results, there is an issue with the outlier, which is good players. Good players will be able to unfortunately shut them down, but less shut down Unforgotten more. Unforgotten has a way better ability in terms when you're dealing with high players where you need to stay consistent. When you're trying to build for late game, Surgeon doesn't add up because you are very able to just never get hit by Surgeon. His lunge is too short. His speed is too slow. While I would buff high Unforgotten into high tier, I would keep Surgeon to mid tier. Due to that fact where Surgeon's early game is not good. It's not good. You need a down. And with higher tier players and people that actually can loop, that is very difficult. Very difficult, especially because of the speed. When it comes to Werewolf, he's still the same. Janitor is still the same. I would argue that Voice Cook is better than Werewolf and Janitor actually, because of reasons, map control, better, honestly, kind of better chase. She doesn't really have to, worry about freaking what's it called, slowing down the survivors. She has very crazy gen pressure. I'm going to leave her at the, honestly, I'd leave her at the top of mid tier. She's not that good, but she is very, very consistent. Very consistent. And that helps her a lot. That helps her a lot. You could play her basically on any map and have the same amount of pressure. Very good. Very good. I'm going to leave Polluted above and Janitor because of his gen passive was tweaked to be better. And his trail is bigger. It has a bigger effect than Janitor's one-time cracked earth, and his range is better. His range is way better than Janitor, unless you're running Siren Head skin. I mean, not Siren Head, Pyramid Head skin, which then that's irrelevant because Janitor has crazy range. With Principal, I'm going to bring Principal up to below Void Skulk. The reason why I'm putting him all above that is because his active is very potent. It's very oppressive still. I don't know if they tweaked it or not, but his active is very, very oppressive. Very oppressive. The only reason why I'm putting him below Voice Skulk is because his area control is not as good. He needs to basically target one person at a time. And basically, he's against the clock. He's working against the clock constantly. He's working against the clock constantly. All right. Probably he's working against the clock constantly more than probably any other killer because once you don't have that ability, you are kind of just letting them do gens because you have no chase potential. Your chase is extremely bad unless you have that ruler out. So I'm going to tweak him like that because the ruler is still oppressive, don't get me wrong, and you have to literally target someone every single time you get ruler, but you're constantly against the clock, So that's all for mid tier. For low tier, I'm going to bring up Boss, Rat, and not Possessed. I know people, oh, Possessed is this, Possessed is that. Sorry, no, I'm not going to bring up Possessed because Possessed is still having issues. That lunge cooldown still affects her. And trust me, I've been playing Possessed. I've been trying to do what people have telling me to do. Hey, play this way, play stealthy, play mobility, do that. And I've seen better results. But the only issue is that TP cooldown. That TP cooldown always messes you up, no matter what. And they don't give her 6.5. So unless they give her a 6.5 or remove TP cooldown, something for her to grasp on and keep some sort of just stability and consistency, there's no way I could put her above low tier. There's no way. There's no way. And with Stalker buff, where she's able to crouch and then swing immediately, yeah, I can't put her above. I can't put her above. So unfortunately for Possessed means she's too inconsistent. She's too inconsistent. Too inconsistent. Even with Hospital as her best map, she still sees very some inconsistencies in Chase. Now, well, I'm bringing Rat above to mid tier. I want to kind of bring him into high tier, but high top of mid tier would be the best place for Rat because I don't see him outperforming Unforgotten because of his chase. But hear me out. The reason why I'm putting him above, even though he has way more map control due to Burrow and stuff, he still doesn't really see too much benefit of his slowdown because he stands still. You know, with Unforgotten, you can catch up slow, and with the new slow buff, hit him hard. Hit him hard. They slow down a lot. You lunge, they're gone. They're forgotten. They teleport across the map. You don't gotta worry about them. All right. Now someone is going to have to go and try to figure out where they are. And on very big maps, Unforgotten is so strong because her passive cooldown doesn't even really matter because it always comes back when you pretty much need it. If I'm being honest, so that's why I'm not putting her Rat above Unforgotten or anyone else, but I'm putting him above everyone else below due to the fact that his lunge is crazy. His lunge is crazy. People still don't know how to counter lunge because he's hunched forward. He has built-in extra range. He has extra range more than anyone else, and it's really hard to see when he's lunging. His lunge, his lunge itself is the best passive in the entire game, if I'm being honest, because he's hunched back. You can't eat one. It's very difficult to know when he's lunging or not. Two, he seems faster because he's hunched back. He has wider range than any other killer in the entire game, unless you're using pay-to-win skins. And on top of that, his like his volt hit ability is crazy high. That lunge itself boosts him so much, and it's crazy how great his lunge. It's just his lunge. That's pretty much it. That's why I'm saying he's this high up. It's his lunge. It's crazy. That's all I'm saying for Rat. All right. He is basically the best passive in the game because he's hunchback. That's pretty much it. Now for low tier, I'm gonna think boss is nice. My boss is nice, but is boss really nice? Kind of. Playing boss now with the new buff doesn't exactly help due to the fact that his speed boost is just non-existent. It's not like PTS boss where his speed boost, you switch out and he gains a massive speed boost, or at least, like, I would wish they would, instead of reducing his cooldown, just give a speed boost bonus to Crowbar. Not even Knuckles. Crowbar. If he get a decent speed boost to catch up and lunge at the same time with Crowbar and make it consistent, where he can outrun people with a switch, he would be better. He would be way better. But I can't, just because he could switch a lot and gain speed boost time to time, it doesn't really help him. It doesn't really help his case. And for the most part, you would speed boost and then lose out because his Crowbar is slower than his Knuckles. Why would you do that in the first place? You know, only if you're like chasing a gen rusher, but even then, if you're just switching constantly, you're like switching to be better in chase and then switching to be worse in chase. It's really, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. Even though you get massive XP, it doesn't really work out. But he's still better than everyone else in this list right here. I'd still say he's better than everyone else. Stalker is still decent. She's low tier. She's not good. She's not really that good, but still she outperforms most of these people down here. Banshee, even with the buffs, she still kind of stays the same. And the only issue is that they added a passive where if you down someone and missed, she gains active again. But you can't work with 8 seconds. That's the only problem. You get 8 seconds on down of missed time. That is excruciatingly hard to manage. 8 seconds, that's all you get on down? Like, that's impossible to stack. It's impossible. I'm sorry, I can't bring her higher. Banshee, even after the buff, still struggles. She still struggles. And it's not good for her. Same with these two, but I would put Ghost and low tier above Unforgotten, way above Unforgotten, and above Stalker. I would put Stalker lower because her chase, especially with bigger maps, if you're dealing with bigger maps, Ghost is way more oppressive because she doesn't have to worry about, you know, distance. She doesn't have to worry. She closes the gap. She closes the gap, which is good. She still gets looped, you know, she still gets looped in bigger maps and stuff, but at least she is able to close the gap and finish chase. But when it comes to smaller maps, still her stealth is not good. Which I would keep Ghost and Stalker interchangeable, with Possess being the outlier, the weaker one between the two. But it's interchangeable, I would say. But when it comes to just oppressiveness, I would give it to Ghost. When it comes to map control and genlock, I would give it to Stalker, even though they're both really not that good at that. But I would keep Ghost higher because she has better chase. Even though I felt like Stalker had, you know, better chase, but it's placebo effect. I had a whole thing with no words where we were going over the placebo effect. It's crazy how the placebo effect actually infects people in game, especially when we talked about 5-stam. It is crazy how much that influences. So this is how this is gonna be. Now for the bottom tier, Apostate's still gonna be bottom tier. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Banshee's still gonna be bottom tier. Doesn't work. Showstopper. Unviable. Let me talk about Showstopper. Showstopper is so bad. So bad. I don't care what no one says because I'm spitting facts. Showstopper is the worst in the entire game. Worst in the entire game. Alright? It's terrible. Just terrible. And there's so many reasons why. I don't understand why people are trying to defend Showstopper. It's probably because they don't want her to get buffed again. But she needs it. I'm sorry, she needs it. Because I'm gonna list these. I'm gonna give you at least 10 reasons why Showstopper is trash. 10. 10 is concerningly high. God, the sun. Look at that. Look at the sun. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. 10, alright? Lunge nerf. Lunge cooldown nerf. Speed nerf. Because they didn't give her 5 speed. They nerfed her speed on top of that. Stack nerf. She's only able to get it on downs, not kills. She's unviable when there's no more than 8 players. If anyone leaves, she's useless because she can't reach her full potential, even though her full potential is pretty ass. Mirror nerf. Mirror cooldown nerf. What else? There's still more. There's still more. Like, a lot of the stuff with the mirror. Mirror nerf where she can't, like, mirror doesn't work. Mirror active doesn't work. Mirror length doesn't work. Really? 7.5 seconds, 8 seconds on mirror? Doesn't work. Mirror cooldown nerf. She is not even that fast, but like you wait 65 seconds for a single mirror? Come on now. Come on now. Like, even her terror radius is kind of, you see her coming from far, bro. You see her coming from mad far. Terror radius, bad. And what's the final reason? What is the final seal in the coffin for Showstopper? Stunners. Stunners, get rid of Showstopper, bro. Stunners, bro. Stunners just destroy Showstopper. Stunners, man. She cannot deal with stunners. She has no map control. No gen patrol. Bad chase. She can't even, like, she has to focus on one person for a single stack. There's no reason to halt. There's no reason for anti-target. You can't target any with her. You can't target with her because you don't gain nothing. You don't gain nothing. You get stacks on downs, not kills. They're out the game, but you don't gain any ability. You don't gain no speed boot, no nothing. Early game Showstopper is better than late game Showstopper because she could actually use mirror more times than late game. It's crazy. It is very crazy. Showstopper is garbage. Anyone telling her, anybody telling you other, matter of fact, yo, If you're looking at this video and saying, hey, Showstopper is not that bad, because I'm gonna leave this completely unedited. All right, you're gonna see so many stuttering. I don't care. If anyone wants to debate about Showstopper, let me know. Let me know. Leonardo, Leon, Kennedy, let me know. Anytime, we go on a call, we make this live event. Why Showstopper is ass or why she's, and that's the thing. They don't say she's good. They she's okay. That's not something for you to be proud of, buddy. That she's okay. She doesn't need changes. Let me know. But that is all. This is going to be the official tier list from now on. This is just a tweak. I'm going to, do this. There we go. I'm going to put this up. The video is going to come out completely unedited besides maybe the intro and the outro because gotta have those. Anyways, thank you guys for me ranting about Showstopper for like the last, 5 minutes. I'm done.